Okay, we've been pre-working up for this is going to be Timelines episode 201, and today is Monday, February 8th, and we've got Craig Newton. So, Craig, take a 2-second pause, and I'm gonna pre-record or post-record your intro, but we'll go right into your timeline. Craig, welcome to Timelines of Success. Great to have you on. And let's try it again. Let's start again. So, Craig, welcome to Timelines. Say, hey, great to be here, Bill. And then I'm going to talk about you for a few minutes, okay?
Okay. All right.
Here we go. Quiet for a second. Craig, welcome to Timelines of Success.
Good morning, Bill.
Hey, it's good to have you here. It's Monday after the Super Bowl. And did your team win yesterday?
I didn't have my team on there. The Patriots are my team, so.
Now, I know you're from the West. How did the Patriots become your team?
How did that happen? I think I like their uniforms.
Northeast.
Yeah. And
maybe the quarterback and their team.
Name the Patriots. I figured I just threw up. A toss up is like, okay.
Well, my team
I'm not
from San Francisco and the Patriots. My wife being from Beverly, Mass. Myself from the West, and my son is in between. So our family's teams are the two, the Patriots and San Francisco. And I guess my son being in New Orleans so long has added, the Saints. He lives.
Yeah, I suppose you're supposed to have a team that's your local team you support.
Well, I thought it was a really good game yesterday. I watched it in and out. As people can see, I've got my own bedroom now for my studio, which is really nice. Instead of using the guest bedroom in a corner, I'll actually have more space to work, which I really need. I really miss my office pre 9/11. But anyway, so this is about your timeline. We're going to talk about you. You've got 37 years in law enforcement, and you've evolved, and now you're sort of breaking out. You're retired, but you're not ever really retired because now you're working in that online environment. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? What part of the world? Where'd you go to high school?
Well, I went to Oroville High School. So I grew up in Oroville.
Wow. Now, really?
Oroville, California. So Northern California.
Right. Paradise. My great-grandparents retired in Paradise, which is close to Oroville.
Yeah, that is. I lived in Paradise for 6 years, actually.
That's nice. You lived there and then worked, and you were in law enforcement. So what was your...
In Paradise is where I first got into law enforcement. I was working at Solano Railcar Company down in Oroville, just as a burner. So just cutting up rail cars, wrecked rail cars, and I would cut them with a torch. And my brother-in-law and I did that together. So it was fun. That was a fun job. Paid a lot of money. Started raising a family, and then thought, what am I going to do with a career? I got to get into a career. I didn't want to be a burner.
A burner, when I think of burner, I think of Northern Nevada here.
Yeah,
Burning Man.
So, yeah. Oh, Burning Man. Which is kind of the same thing. They erect a great big statue and then burn it. So
yeah.
That's what we do with rail cars. They bring in these wrecked rail cars, from the canyon there in 70 up, Feather River Canyon.
Oh, I've been up. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of rail cars get wrecked in that canyon. So,
really?
Yeah. They bring them into the Solano Railcar Company and then the burners, because we had a torch. It's all you do is carry around a cutting torch all day long.
Hey, that canyon is a secret. The Feather River Canyon is my secret.
It is a secret.
I'll go there over Tahoe any day. In Great Eagle.
Do you remember? I don't know if you ever rode the Zephyr through that canyon.
No, I've got to though. My uncle, there's a little school for Union Pacific, and not Union Pacific. I think it's the electrical company that's in there. There's a little school in the middle, but it's a one-room school when they have like all grades there. My uncle was one of the teachers and principals of that school.
Was that in the Story School?
Yeah,
a little town called Story?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there by the river.
I had a friend that went to school there.
Yeah, that's a little tiny school. His name is Clyde Bryan. My grandfather is Bryan, Bryan. So anyway, driving on, that's beautiful. We'll have to talk about that sometime. I'm looking to buy a cabin around Gray Eagle. You
got to do a video right down that canyon and then put it on your podcast sometime.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Just drive through there. That's a very good thing to do. It's Highway 70, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. What a canyon.
spectacular. That's why the Zephyr, I think when the Zephyr ran through that canyon, it was one of the most well-known rail lines in the country.
Mm-hmm.
The spectacular views from that rail.
Well, now the Zephyr goes over Highway 80 route, right, to Reno.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. It's a pretty nice view too over 80.
Hey, what's the history? Well, I mean, we're going off track though. What's the history of that track? When was that laid? I know when this was laid. This is the first one laid. It was over here from Reno to Sacramento.
We have to get my friend Lance Kramer on here because he drove that as an engineer for several years.
Yeah, it's big. I can't think of the name of that town that's up above Gray Eagle, but that's where all the rail tracks are. And there's a big railway. It's the second line through, actually. It's still used a lot today, I take it.
Mm-hmm. What is that called?
So how'd you get into law enforcement?
So anyway, in Paradise, I thought, I got to get into a career. And I met a guy on the Butte County Sheriff's Department. So I started riding along with him. And then Paradise had their own police department, which you know.
Right.
So I started hanging out with at the police department. I was going to get a job and start working for the Paradise Police Department. But we ended up moving to Sacramento. So that was just my initial, several months working with the Butte County and the Paradise Police. Then we moved to Sacramento, and I got a job in the Sacramento County at the juvenile hall. So I started working corrections for Sacramento, and that was a pretty neat deal. I really, really enjoyed working youth corrections in Sacramento County because I'd take kids out to the park. I'd be in the dorms with them, working at the boys' ranch, and it was awesome because those kids would come out of such miserable circumstances sometimes. Not poverty circumstances, but dysfunctional circumstances. And when we'd be out in the park raking leaves, cutting down berry bushes, stuff like that, we would have time to talk. That's the perfect time to talk when you're actually working with kids. I found that same to be true in the Boy Scouts. And Julie and I have raised 4 Eagle Scouts. So we spent years and years in the Boy Scouts. And that's when you really get to have an influence on boys, is when you're out doing some project like that in the woods or in parks. And I cherish those times when I take that busload of kids out and work with them. And there were some, there's always disciplinary problems that you have to take care of. And so you're, certified to do that with kids. I mean, there's kids that we had, chained up to post,
Right. Hey, now for the listener, go back a step. How did you had to become sworn? So what was the process to become sworn?
You go through a small, just for that job, I went through a small academy. Is
that the first time you're sworn?
Yeah. Well, I did it actually for Butte County. I went through their academy course at Butte College, right down there.
Right. I know where Butte College is. Junior college, yeah.
Yeah. So I went through a course there first, just to be able to ride along with the cops. And I was going to get into it. But anyway, we ended up moving to Sacramento. So that's when I finally got into it. And that was great. But like I said, I was working in my church with 2 officers from Folsom Prison. And those guys would always tell me about how they, beat up inmates got shot, how there's pretty crazy stuff at Folsom Prison. So they would talk about that, and they'd say, come on and join us. And I'd say, you're out of your mind? I said, I get to go out and with these kids, and work in these parks. I said, I'm not going to go work with a bunch of dirtbag felons and, fighting these guys every day, but they were making twice as much money as I was. And we had a growing family. So I went over to corrections. And it turned out to be a fabulous career. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It wasn't as bad as Folsom. There's a lot of really good parts in corrections too. A lot of people that want to change their lives.
Right. Right. You're always trying to figure that out.
I've never been a gun ho soldier that just wanted to go and kill bad guys. Although I do enjoy doing that. I have been a gunner. I've shot, at a lot of people, never killed one.
Really? While you're in corrections?
Yeah, while in corrections. Yep.
So I
don't think I ever had a shootout. Never had a shootout in law enforcement. I was at a scene in Orville once where it was a shootout, but I was pretty new and they told me to stand back, So I don't think I was fully certified at that point. Yeah, I did have a gun on me. Huh.
It's a weird environment. I know a lot of people, you don't have a gun inside at times too.
In prison, you don't, but there's always gunners watching over you.
Right. And you have mics and all that. But the shank, I'd be scared to death of a shank or something of that nature.
Yeah, but you know what? In prison, the prisoners have a very limited program. And they want their stuff. They want their time out of their cells. They want their program to work. And no prisoner is going to mess up that program because the drugs are flowing in those programs. All the soups, the top ramens, everything is happening when there's program time. And the shot callers on the yards have worked their way up, by killing people to get to a position of power.
That's amazing.
And they get a cut. They get a cut of everything that comes in, all the money that comes in, all the drugs that come in. They get like a 80% cut, So they do not want their program messed up. You got some guy that doesn't get out of the shower fast enough. He gets 10 minutes in the shower. If he's not out of there in 10 minutes, you just go tell the shot caller, and the guy will be, stabbed or beat up or.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, he'll lose a lot of stuff. So you really know if you know how to work a program, if you're not a butthead cop that just tries to go and, some cops will go grab the guy out of the shower and they'll beat the guy up themselves, That's that kind of cop. Huh?
That's a rough world.
Yeah, it's a rough world. So those kind of guys, those kind of cops, they mess up the program.
Right.
And so then they end up getting stabbed. I've seen that happen.
Well, that thought, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I'm going to ask you a quick question about Post. And then I want to ask you about your success principles and what you want to do now that you've served your 37 years, you've got a retirement, and you're building a foundation. Also, for the listener out there, you have a very large family. We know that. You talked about it briefly.
Right.
So,
awesome family. Julie and I were reminiscing last night about how awesome our kids are. There's 28 of us, 29 of us now, and almost 30. We're just going to have another grandchild in a couple of days.
So you have between you've got 4, 3, and 3, right? 12, 7, 9. A lot of kids.
We had 4. She had 4. I had 2, and then we had 3. So that was 9 between us.
That's a lot. And the youngest is how old?
The youngest is 8. Oh, he's just going to turn 19 in April. Yeah, and he's in Argentina.
Wow. Okay.
And he just ate an otter down there. We just got an email this morning of the picture of an otter.
He ate
a live otter, and it looked really cute. And then the next picture is the otter cooked.
Nice.
And they're eating the otter.
Is that a staple there in Argentina?
It is, apparently. I guess they raise them, it looks like, because the guy's holding the otter in his hand, like if you had a rabbit cage, with a bunch of bunnies, and you hold the bunny, and then the next picture is, you got the bunny all skinned. And
we're going to go to a break. I've done that. Been there, done that. Not with otters though, but with bunnies. So
Yeah,
a little more, too much information. So anyway, driving on, take a break, quiet for a second. Okay, Craig, coming in off the break, I want to talk to you about POST, something that you have to do to get certified. So if someone wants to become and get into law enforcement, they probably need to go through some type of POST training. What is POST? It stands for Peace Officer Standards and Training. But what is it and how to get into it?
Well, there's several ways to get into it. And I'd say most people probably go through their own POST training at a junior college. Because they want to get into law enforcement. Our son in Los Angeles was going to do that, but at here in Washoe County, I was at the fairgrounds at a Republican booth, and this guy stopped by, and he was a captain, retired captain from LA County. And he told me, he said, just have your son give me a call. He was actually he's still from LA County. And he said, have your son give me a call. So he told Tim, he said, no, he said, what you need to do is go to these departments that offer training as a paid position instead of paying for your own training.
I agree what you're saying.
Yeah. He told him, he said, so you look for a department that offers training as part of when they hire you, they'll put you through the training and pay for it themselves, and you get paid while you're going there.
I agree. And you go back to school if you want to on your off time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And, somebody, even though law enforcement is only a high school diploma, you can get into it. But I think it pays a lot better, and it's just you can move up faster if you get some college, at least 2 years of college in before you get in.
Yep. I've worked along law enforcement, and being a reservist in the military, a lot of the officers were law enforcement or even senior NCOs. And they all had, as much education as they could, especially if you want to go up to some of those more complex areas of law enforcement, which is really bigger cities are hugely complex.
Yes. Yeah, it really pays.
Hugely.
Not just pays money, but it pays. There's just a lot of advantages to education. There is. I mean, that's one of our things we're talking about here is education, right?
Yeah. Some people like to be patrol officers and stay on the street. And some people like to progress up in the process and system. And I mean, you can go as high as you want to in law enforcement. Whether you've, I went through the process as a councilman of hiring a chief of police. By the way, we fired the old chief who came out of LA.
Oh yeah.
I'll talk him off.
Well, that happens a lot, doesn't it? I think, in Lassen County, they fired people.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people get fired. I don't know. That's part of the scam thing we're talking about. You scam your way into different positions.
Then we could talk about the sheriff's department, how that's run. That's elected office, and yet that's the most powerful person when it comes to terrorism. The first person who's in charge.
Unfortunately, that's one of the big mistakes we make in politics. I think in local politics is that we end up having a police chief,
as opposed to what?
A sheriff.
Well,
because
cities have
by the city council.
That's unique because there's some cities, smaller cities, that actually contract out to the sheriff's department for law enforcement.
They do, yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the traditional Western way is with a sheriff. Carson
County has no police department.
They contract out to the sheriff's department.
Yeah. Gardnerville, most of those little towns down there do not have police departments. They just use the sheriffs. And there's no reason not to. I mean, I don't know why even have a police department, even like in Lassie County and up in Susanville. Why do they have a police department? It's just weird.
The histories are really unique. The police departments came out of the bigger cities on the East Coast. And in the West, we actually have more sheriff's authority, I believe. And more sheriffs actually are, working with their cities and communities. But the bigger cities all have police departments, and that comes out of a culture of the East. They can see. I think LA had a police department a long time ago too. I think they established early, and San Francisco, I'm sure. San Francisco must be unique because they're a county and a city all in one.
There's I don't know. It seems to be more open to corruption that way because, then the city council appoints the police chief
through the city manager.
Yeah, through the city manager. So I don't know. When you have an elected sheriff, the whole department's more accountable to the people.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I 100%, 110% agree. Everyone, generally, where I come from, most people like the sheriff.
Yep.
Generally, because we elected him. Well, that's good. Yeah. That's enough of the chit chat about law enforcement. An interesting career field. I think it's a great career field. It's while you're in that career field, I think with new technologies like we have now, you could educate yourself online. You don't work all the time. I mean, what's really nice about law enforcement too, we didn't really talk about this, is often they'll work 12-hour shifts or 10-hour shifts, like 410s, where you have 3 days off a week, which is nice and varies. But there's overtime too.
Yeah, and most people, I don't think law enforcement pay in and of itself at $70,000. Because I did that while we were having babies. My wife was having babies. I'd stay home a lot. But when the money's right there, you can double your income with overtime pretty fast.
Right.
It's really tempting. I mean, I think most guys do it.
Yeah, especially if you're single or young and you can really put a lot of time in.
Yeah, heck, you don't have to be single and young. I mean, we were, as many as 7 kids at home, and I was working at least 70, 80 hours a week.
That's a lot of work.
Almost double,
All you have to do is come home and sleep and eat.
Yeah, that's it. And not sleep very much, like 2 hours.
And I bet they didn't give you too much. You didn't get to do PT, did you, on your work?
Sometimes, yeah. If you were working a building at the prison and at night,
I guess you could drop and do push-ups.
They had. I mean, some of those control booths have weight rooms up there, so
nice.
Yeah, you really bust it out.
I'm a big believer in. That's what I liked about the military. We got paid to stay in shape. I miss that.
Yeah.
So going on, let's talk about your life and success principles. You're on to a new type of business now. Now, the first thing you talked about was mindset. What does mindset mean to you?
You have to have a mindset for, let's see, what does a mindset mean? Mindset. I guess you have to just start out saying, okay, I'm going to do something, and focus in on it, and then learn everything you can about it, and have that foremost in your frontal lobe all the time in your conscious mind, thinking about how you're going to do it, how you're going to accomplish that goal. Because you do that anyway in small numbers, right? I'm going to make breakfast this morning. So you have a mindset that you're going to get breakfast in. And then you got a mindset you're going to get, shower, shave, and get yourself all ready for the day. So we do it all in small portions, but I think the downfall is most of us don't. You look at Rush Limbaugh, for instance. He's been doing that now for 37 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because he started doing that about the same time I started law enforcement. So he and I are pretty much contemporaries as far as, in the timeline there. So Rush has been doing that for 37 years. That's a pretty good mindset to do the same thing, 3-hour program every day for 37 years. And it has made him immensely powerful and wealthy.
Right. He made it. Yep.
Yeah, he hit it. So developing a mindset, that's just so important. That's got to be the first thing. What do you think?
I agree. Mindset's important. You got to figure out how to do it. There's the criminal mind too. That's maybe what you've seen, but we won't talk about that. So driving on, it says, be careful with your money. Now, you made some really good money at times, and you're retired now. So it sort of takes on a new perspective. And I know I've got 2 young girls, so I've got to work my tail off still, even though I got a military retirement.
Yeah. Well, me too. I mean, because here's the problem, right? We raised 7 kids, had a fabulous home up there in Janesville, California.
Yeah.
and just a really great time raising kids. But we spent all the money we made.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Spent it all. And then had no equity in our home when we left. So we don't have a home.
Because the housing market was so screwed up for a while.
It crashed. Yeah. Our house was worth, at one time, it was worth over $400,000. But when we sold it, it was worth what we had in it. And
California, you really did a whiplash where you lived. It whiplash real bad.
It did, because we not half, but I think the house sold for $280.
Yeah.
8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Real close to that. And that's what we had in it.
Well, houses dropped from like half their value at one time in those regions. It really took a whiplash. Bad.
Yeah. And, if we'd have stayed there, we would have recovered some and we could have made some money on it, but it was time to go.
Yeah. And then you came to Nevada, right? After you retired?
Yep. Came to Nevada. We came to Nevada with the idea that we're both going to start new careers. I mean, Julie didn't start a new career, but she advanced her music career. She had a huge, and we still do have a performing arts studio in Susanville with over 200 students at it. So
it's your company or studio?
Yeah, company.
Wow.
It's Julie and Jessica, our youngest daughter, Jessica, right. And Julie, J&J Performing Arts. They started it. They ran it.
Very entrepreneurial. Very good.
I built the first studio, which that was part of the house. I put, borrowed against the mortgage and put $47,000 into a.
Yeah, running a business can be expensive too, and you don't always get it back. It's easy to spend money with your company.
You what?
It's easy to spend money when you have your own business because you think you get it back. It's like it's a business expense, but really, it can be a play expense too.
Yeah, I mean, we did make the money back because we built the studio and we made money with it for 7 years until we ended up moving into Susanville. And but we had a lot of students. We had over 100 students coming out to the house, with the studio we built, and it was a really nice addition to the house. So we would have made money on it if the economy hadn't crashed. If the housing market hadn't crashed, the house was worth a lot of money.
Okay, number 3 is always be learning.
Always be learning. That's a tough one right there to me, because there's so many opportunities to learn, and I sometimes think, do I need to go to college where I'm in a course, because you get concentrated knowledge at college, but it doesn't seem to apply to the real world. Have you ever noticed that?
Well, the thing is, I think learning is changing. This online learning management systems is changing how we learn, and we have another show we're talking about, scams online, and it's hard to you got to find out what you really need, and then
you do.
The universities, I think, are somewhat behind in this.
They're behind.
They're very much behind in this online learning system because I think they're scared.
They're behind in everything. I mean, they're behind in law enforcement. I remember when I took that course at Butte College. And then I took the course at Sacramento County. And then I took the course, the Academy for Corrections. Every business has a course designed. Sacramento County is different from the basic course you take at Butte College. It's way different. And then corrections is hugely different from those courses. So it's the same thing. If you go to college, how are you going to find a course on anything at college that would actually prepare you for a job that you're going to take?
I just thought of a business idea. Are people going into corrections and actually creating little clips for the correction officers on what to do, like training inside?
I think there's some. There's a lot of multimedia.
Yeah, multimedia online training
in corrections. I don't know if you can get it outside of that because
it can be closed. Yeah,
it's sort of proprietary, to the job, and you don't want the criminals to learn it.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Maybe that's a bad example, but
that's a
lot of places where you can start a business and help people
train for a job with a company. They don't want that training going to, like Apple doesn't want their training going to Microsoft.
No, they got to keep that close circuit.
It's all proprietary, so to get your hands on it's kind of difficult.
Right. And I was just thinking of smaller businesses. There's a place to create online training for people. So
for online training, it's not that proprietary, right?
Yeah. And your fourth, we're going to go to your fourth. And then it's get your product to market.
Wow.
I know you're trying to work on a product right now, right? You're trying to start a business.
I'm trying to start a business online. Yes.
We'll come back after the break and tell us about that online business, and we'll finish up. That'll be your commercial. So
okay.
Go to break.
All right. Mm-hmm. Can you see me when I go to a different page? Am I still on?
Yeah, I'm recording right now, Craig, so got to be quiet. I got to have a gap. Okay, Craig, coming back. We're coming back for our final bit, and this is time for your commercial. We know you started the American Information Exchange, and Exchange is XCHANGE, presents. So that's a start, and that's a new business. How long have you been working in this business, and what are you doing it for?
So I have been working on it for over 15 years. But like I said, when I was active in law enforcement, I didn't do much with it at all. I just wanted to create a place where every organization could come to and get their information out there with no bylaws, kind of like the Tea Party.
Hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what the American Information is. I want to get a bunch of bloggers on here from different organizations, but like a Huffington Post kind of a thing, where they can blog on my blog about their particular interests too. And I believe we can make money with it. I mean, obviously, Huffington Post makes a lot of money. So does WND and what's the other one that Bill?
So how do you want to monetize? Through affiliates?
Through affiliates and just advertising. Yeah, through affiliates. I'd say that's pretty much it.
Creating product, maybe?
Creating product like ebooks, things like that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Things of that nature.
Writing books. I'm sure people have books. I mean, if you look at Rush's site, Rush Limbaugh, most of the stuff that he advertises on his site are his own products.
Right. That's the way. So you've got affiliates, you've got speaking engagement, scheduling for your time, and then your own products are by far the best. Once you create your own products, things that work.
If you look at Glenn Beck's website, his store is full of affiliate products, and they say that Glenn Beck, his actual website, makes more money than any other talk show host out there.
Well, I just pull up Glenn Beck, and the first thing that comes up is Twitter. So if I hit the Twitter account, maybe I can go over from Twitter. I can go over and find his account.
I'm not sure it's called the Glenn Beck store. But I saw him on an interview, and they said, my gosh, your website is making so much money. I think they said it was making $90 million a year.
Shop the Glenn Beck official store. And it start with this, and he's got shirts, and that's true. And he's got his books, and it's a modern design. And I'll drop this in. That's good. Well, you know what? That's good to shoot at. But I'll tell you, it takes a lot of hard work and time and effort to get there. From that blogging to working to. So that's a good lead in to where we're going to go and finish up. So we appreciate your time. It's been unique. You're one of our first law enforcement persons, retired. Not a bad career to start out, especially when you're young. You can still do other stuff. The pay is good. And it's rewarding, too, to some extent, I assume. I've worked with a lot in the reserve. I worked with highway patrolmen. I worked with people in corrections. And I worked with police. And what I found was the police seemed to be the most satisfied of the people I knew with their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And the sheriff's department. I have ridden with sheriffs, but that gets to be lonely. They go out in the boonies, especially in the big counties.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They're all about them by themselves without a backup sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so.
Yeah, one of my really good friends was murdered just going to a call, a domestic violence call.
Yeah, I heard that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's got to be scary.
Yeah.
You think about the lack of logic when someone's killed like that. Here he's going out to help people, and then he gets killed. Doesn't know him. Just going out to help.
Yep.
To make things right, to protect life and safety.
He was a really Christian family man. You know, that's the most unfortunate things that ever happened.
Yeah.
Like 2 police officers that were killed in, where was that? New York City. One was a young pastor, young black pastor.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's always sad, and a lot do lose their lives, and it's a tough business to be in that aspect. But it's sort of like the military. It's a profession. You don't do it for just the pay. You do it for service and duty. Well, let's drive on. So how can the listener find you, Craig? What's the best contact information?
Well, the best contact information would probably be to comment on my blog.
Okay, we'll put that in there.
Which would be awesome.
The blog, the American Information
Exchange.com.
And we'll also have it on timelinesofsuccess.com on show notes. And it's good to put your email in there too. We'll get your email there too.
So the email is Craig's TAIX. So it's CRAIGS TAIX. Yep. So it's, the American Information, at least the acronyms for it, right? TAIX at the end of my name, Craig. So Craig's takes at gmail.com.
Very good. And that'll be it for this formal show. Stay on, because we're going to have YouTube, and we're going to start changing the topics and see what happens on Blab here. So quiet for a second. So what I'm doing, we're coming off of the break, and I'm actually dropping in your title here, so I have the title in my show notes. And I'm going to start changing the title. So if we go down below the topics, you hit topics right there. You can say, on topics, we'll say, let's do something, criminal mind, the criminal mind online. Have you seen the criminals who've been online, or what type of guys did you work with incarcerated? All different types, right? What are some of the?
Yeah. What are you looking at again?
Topic in the who knows? What was the criminal mind like? The guys you worked with.
I think they're just broken minds. They're really broke, completely dysfunctional. Always looking for a way to take other people's stuff.
Topic: the criminal mind,
and
looking for a way to take people's stuff. The free market system is free market. Criminals take, and government can take too. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Looking for the criminal mind, looking for a way to take people's stuff. Criminal mind, looking for a way. So that's well, you see, I just changed the topic up there. And what we'll do is other people will come in and we'll ask them to comment on what they found out. So you've got these 37 years of around these criminal minds. How do you keep it from affecting your mind? I'm staying away from it. Some guys go bad too, don't they?
They do, and the reason is, I tell you, this is so true. Can I tell you an experience I had?
Yeah, sure. We're recording right now. It's only YouTube. It's not on the timeline.
Somebody doesn't have this experience, they're going to go the other way. Okay, so I'm working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week at San Quentin State Prison with hardcore, just, gang shot callers, the biggest, most notorious people in the world, Charles Manson, Joe Morgan, who started.
Have you seen Charles Manson?
Oh yeah. I've escorted Charles Manson.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Is he really, what's it feel like being around him?
Nothing. He's just another dirtbag, you chain him up, and on your way to his lawyer, you talk to him about, hey, what are you going to do today? what are you going to talk about today? You know, he doesn't tell you, but he just tells you stuff that he wants you to hear.
Right.
You know, just like every other criminal, you got them in chains. So what are they can't do anything. You're going to see their attorney. So, you know, they're just, but you know, it's always a scam.
Yeah.
Talking about scams again, you know, they're always scamming. Always. One of the most prolific statements I think you make as law enforcement is, how do you know when a criminal's lying to you?
As
soon as he opens his mouth, right? Yeah. Every single time he opens his mouth, he's lying. It's always a scam. So yeah. So what was the question? I forgot.
So what some guys do go bad, and you've seen this a couple times
some guys
just recently. You saw
Here's
the woman up in New York and then in Santa Ana who may have helped with the escapes. The one in Santa Ana, we don't know if he was let go. She wasn't.
Yeah. That's because they get scammed. Those people get scammed. We had a librarian, an older lady, not bad looking for an older lady, long gray hair. And she was a flaming liberal, you know, thinking that you can make friends with these guys and help change their lives. So she's in there as a librarian, and her library helper, she gets an inmate to help her with the library. A couple of them, several of them actually. So pretty soon, you know, she's having sex with her librarian, the prisoner librarian. And then
oh yeah, the male.
Yeah. And so that's a criminal offense on her part, right? To have sex
on the premises, I take it, because he can't get out.
On the premises, yeah, in the library. So now that so one time she compromises, has sex. Now
he's got something against her.
He's got something against her. So now she's bringing in drugs, and you know, little metal weapon things, right? Little things that you can cut bars with and things like that.
Right.
And then not only that, but he doesn't come in one day. He sends one of his buddies that wants to work in the library and get sex with her. So pretty soon she's having sex with like 20 different prisoners.
Oh my.
And she is getting worn out. So
you think she should quit?
Huh?
She just quit and leave.
She can't quit and leave.
Why?
Because they got her under so many criminal activities that she can't quit.
You mean the criminals are threatening her outside her home?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're threatening her. You know, you quit, you do anything to deny us what we want, and we're going to turn you in. You're going to end up in prison yourself.
Wow.
So yeah. So, I mean, when this whole thing came out, you know, and she told everybody, they didn't put her in prison. They just felt sorry for her and let her go because she was so abused.
Man, how old was she?
Oh, she was probably 68 years old.
Are you kidding me? Oh my.
Pretty good looking though. Pretty good looking for 68, you know.
Gosh.
But she was one of them bleeding heart liberals that just thought that I'm going to come in here, you know, these cops are so bad, you know, they're so mean. The cops are creating these really rotten people, you know. Mm-hmm. It's all the cops' fault.
Well, is there a good story where someone actually did turn themselves around? Some of the programs in prison that work. You know, we're going to have you on Meet the Voter because they're going to talk about one of the topics they want to talk about. There's a liberal down in L.A. who's young, who thinks we over incarcerate people in California.
Yeah, and I'm totally against that. I think that's a bunch of baloney. I
definitely have to have you on that show for discussion.
As a law enforcement officer, you know, when I worked the streets and when I worked around people that work the streets, you don't say, oh, let's go see how much weed that guy's got on him, right? And we'll bust him and put him in prison. No cops do that. Cops don't do that, you know, unless the guy has a huge criminal record, right? And he's a dirtbag and he's been a violent criminal and now he's out on the street. Then you might say, hey, dude, let's go see how much weed he's got on him and we'll bust him and put him back in prison because he's a violent criminal and you don't want him on the street. Right. So then you go look, but you're not going to bust some kid, you know, that comes out of a movie theater and he's got, pocket full of weed, or he's in high school and he's got, bennies or whatever, and you're not going to put him in prison.
I sure Stacey. I rode a lot with our police and sheriff's department too. And I can tell you at times I just dump the bag, make them sit down, dump the bag, throw it away.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
So all these people that are bleeding hearts that say, look at all these people are in prison because of drug crimes. You go, if you look at the dude's rap sheet,
the gangs,
the rap sheet, it will tell you, this guy's been arrested for multiple felonies, and he comes in and the DA's office is jam packed. So they're going to cut a deal with him. They're going to say, look, you know what? You got to be off the street. We're not letting you go. You're not going to get out. You're going to prison. You can take a plea and do 3 years on this drug crime because they all have drugs on them. So some of them will even cop a plea and say, yeah, I had drugs on me, and they didn't have any drugs on them. But they'll just cop a plea and say, yeah, I had drugs. I'll take a bust over methamphetamine.
Oh, that meth.
Meth, and I'll take a 3-year prison sentence.
Yeah.
Over instead of having this gun on me,
They get caught with meth, and they don't prosecute for meth. They go for the lower case, and
or they'll get him for meth. But the real reason you picked him up is because he's a dirtbag, violent criminal. He's carrying a gun, and he's going to go kill somebody. And you get the whole, the cops know the whole story, but the DA says, man, getting him on that is going to be difficult. Let's just bust him on. Put him in for 3 years, because in 3 years he's going to get back out. We'll get him for another 3 years, and 3 years again, and 3 years again, and 3 years again. So it's a revolving door, and it works.
Have you had to go to court?
Oh yeah, I've been to court.
Is that from prison or from when you're just police officer?
From prison. Yeah,
because they're getting more charges are being brought up.
Yeah, and they're always blaming the correctional officer. The correctional officer did this to me, blah, blah, blah.
It must be constant.
It's constant. It's just dumb. And fortunately, the prison system is really good at, playing the same game.
Yeah, same thing over and over. It repeats.
Yeah. You're going to accuse this correctional officer of doing this. Okay, well, guess what? You lose this case, you're going to find yourself 10 years in the hole, and stuff like that. I mean, the game's played both ways, right?
When they do that, when they accuse
all scams, going on.
When they accuse, what's an example of what they'd accuse a correctional officer for?
Well, anything. I mean, for instance, this one of my really good friends went to a cell and they were serving bologna and cheese sandwiches for lunch, right? A brown bag lunch. And the prisoner said, I don't eat cheese. And so the cop took the cheese out, wrapped in, it's all vacuum packed and in plastic, right? The cheese is separate. The bologna's separate. The bread is all packed. Everything's vacuum packed, right? Because these dirtbags are so
They make
stupid.
their own sandwiches?
So you give them their sandwich. They got a package of mustard and a package of ketchup in there, blah, blah, blah. So it's usually 2 sandwiches, like a peanut butter and a bologna sandwich. So he says, I don't like cheese. So the cop takes the cheese package and he throws it from the second tier. He throws it down on the floor because you have these porters down there that are always sweeping the floors, right? So the officers just throw all the trash onto the main floor. So he throws the cheese down there. And it lands by a prisoner sweeping the floor. And the prisoner, because these guys that are out sweeping the floors, they get along with the cops really, really well.
Right, they're the privileged one.
Yeah. So he throws the cheese down there, and the prisoner he says, "What are you calling me, a rat now?" Because he threw in cheese, right? He threw cheese down, and it landed by the guy sweeping the floor. So he yells up to the cop, and he says, "What are you calling me, a rat?"
Oh.
Because if you're a rat in prison, that's a really bad thing to be, right?
Cheese, yeah.
If you're telling on somebody, hey, that guy's doing drugs over there,
right?
Then you're going to be called a rat by the other prisoners.
Right. That's not a good name, probably.
That's not a good name. It's a really bad name, So he says, "What are you doing, calling me a rat?" And he's just joking with the officer
down below, right?
Yeah, and the officer goes, "Yeah, clean it up," and they're just joking around. But some of the other prisoners started thinking, Oh, was he calling him a rat?
Yeah.
He was calling him a rat. Maybe the officer threw that down there because he really is a rat and he wants to get him killed.
Oh, he's getting screwed.
So there's all these little crazy things going on, in the prison. The prisoners are all seeing that and they're going, oh, is he a rat? So anyway, it all went around that maybe he is a rat, and then he was in all kinds of trouble.
They have
with the other prisoners.
Too much time to think.
Too much time to think. So everybody's thinking all these bad things, and it went. He ended up going to the captain and saying, "Captain, man, I got myself in all this trouble because so and so threw this cheese down, and now people are starting to think I'm a rat." And they fired the officer over that.
Oh, they're throwing the cheese down.
Yeah. He got his job back, but they fired him to kind of make it look like, that the officer was in the wrong.
To protect the prisoner, actually, I would think.
To protect the prisoner.
Now the prisoner's a hero.
Yeah, now the prisoner's a hero because he got this cop fired.
Right.
It's crazy stuff, man. And it used to be, oh man, when I worked San Quentin, you could do anything. It didn't matter what you did. Folsom Prison too. No prisoner could tell on you and ever get you in trouble.
See,
never.
This is called copyright. I'm playing with the names right now. Keep on going about San Quentin. That was pretty good. Where did you work in San Quentin?
I lived in Vacaville.
A lot of people live.
I couldn't live in San Quentin. It gets really expensive when you start.
Yeah, I was going to say, where do you park there? It's looks like an island from the outside.
Yeah, no, at San Quentin they got a big, huge parking lot, for the cops.
That's an old prison. How old is that? One of the oldest prisons in California?
I think 1890 is what the date says on the door when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
It's embossed on the count gate.
1890.
When you walk,
it was older than that.
It is older than that. It's 1850, but it didn't actually become a state prison until like 1890. It was a prison in, I think, 1850.
Uh-huh. And it's very old.
Yeah, very old. There was actually a boat, a ship out in the bay right there where San Quentin is. Mm-hmm. And the prisoners were on this ship. And that was the first San Quentin. It was just a boat. And then they started building on the shore, and it just became this massive
the island.
prison.
It's an island, isn't it? I've driven past it.
It's on a peninsula. The island is Alcatraz.
I've driven past it, huh?
Oh, yeah, I know Alcatraz,
of course. But San Quentin, I've driven past it a few times.
It's a peninsula. So it's right on San Rafael.
Mm-hmm.
So the San Rafael Bridge just ends up right at San Quentin.
And so Vacaville too, there's a prison in Vacaville. You ever work in that one?
I did. That's the California Medical Facility. I transferred to that one after 2 years at Quentin.
I'm looking at a map right now as you drive across 580 in the bridge and you see it off to the left side. I always thought it looks like almost an island out there. It's all out in the peninsula, I say.
Yeah.
And that's expensive. San Rafael is such a nice area. It's very expensive.
Very expensive. Marin County is very expensive.
North, you go across the Golden Gate Bridge for the listener out there and you go north. Yeah, San Quentin. Wow, I know that's an old prison. And then, have you ever been on, of course you didn't work there, but when did they close down Alcatraz? It's been a long time.
Long time since they closed that. In fact, one Sergeant Davenport, when I got there to San Quentin, he had worked at Alcatraz when it closed.
That was a federal prison.
That was a federal prison.
Yes, you were always in the state program.
Yeah. So a lot of those guys came over to San Quentin when Alcatraz closed, but not very many of them were left. They died off.
Yeah,
but there was probably 5 of them there at San Quentin when I got there in '85.
Now I've flown around Alcatraz. I've never been on the island. Have you been on it?
No, I've never been on it either. Even though I lived right there, I never.
I want to go visit another jail.
I was working so much. I didn't care about. San Quentin is awesome, and it's a castle. It is just like a castle.
Yeah, from the outside, it definitely looks like a castle.
Yeah, it's awesome. I worked the first watch, the night shift for a while, like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with the oldest correctional officer ever. He had like almost 50 years in corrections. He had stripes all the way up one arm and almost all the way up his other arm. Sergeant Wordy, Woordy, Wordy. And he would tell us, he would say, hey, you see those keys hanging there? He said, those keys are the keys to the gas chamber. He says, go check it out. So my partner and I, Mike Wright, we would go and just check out places like that at night. And there were keys. He'd say, see those keys hanging there? Those go to the dungeon. And so we'd take the dungeon keys and go over and check out the dungeon. And there was a shackle hanging on the wall, one shackle left.
Oh my.
I should have took it because just 2 years after I left there, they gutted that whole dungeon and turned it into a storage facility for medical stuff. And then after that, they completely dug the whole thing out and turned it into a new medical facility. So somebody got that last shackle, darn it.
Oh my. That's great.
I should have took it when I had a chance.
That is so strange. It looks like they have a dock in there on the side too. Like there's like a little bay or something goes into it, like a dock around Main Street.
I think that's Larkspur, the Larkspur Ferry.
Lee Drive goes into the prison. I'm looking on a map.
There's a ferry that goes into the prison?
No, I don't know. I just show San Quentin, and there's like a little place where it looks like it's like they dug it out. I mean, just looking at the map, wow. Crazy place. So tell me one good story about prison, something that happened good. A prisoner actually turned himself around. What were the conditions to that prisoner for that to happen?
Well, I'll tell you, I did a program at California Correctional Center, and I had all the what happened was my seventh grade daughter, when she got into junior high, she came home one day and she said, Dad, what's the harm in using drugs, like trying drugs? Because she says some of my friends, their older high school siblings are having parties when their parents are gone. And they said it's a lot of fun. They had a lot of fun. People were getting drunk and being stupid and, using drugs. And she said, they just talk about it like it being fun. She said, what's the harm in having fun like that? Well, I went to work and I told my lead porter I had this work crew in a gymnasium. And so I told him, I said, man, my daughter asked me this question. I said, I've never used drugs, so I don't know what to say to her. And he said, let me write you a story. So he wrote his whole life story down. I took it home and I read it to the family, and everybody was crying because this guy's life was so tragic, over drugs. And I thought, wow, this could be, I said, there's 1,000 guys, there's 8,000 people here that could be writing letters like this to school kids. And so I did this program. So we ended up getting all the shot callers together at the prison, all the notorious murderers, whites, blacks, Mexicans, all of them, all the gangs. We got them into this one room and had them did videos with them talking about, why kids shouldn't use drugs. And because all these guys are older, right? Because they worked their way up through the gangs, mm-hmm. and they were all like close to 50 years old, So, and they all had kids. You couldn't talk to these young gangsters like that because they didn't care. They didn't have kids. All these guys had kids. And so they were like, yeah, I don't want my kids coming to prison. And even though they're in charge of all the drugs that come through the prison, and they get a huge cut and they make a ton of money off all the drugs, every single one of them gave a really good story about why kids shouldn't use drugs. And I have these videotapes. It's amazing.
You still have, that's amazing. Too bad you can't go in there and video them and have that get out on the street.
It's amazing. I've been, because we're talking about copyright, I've been a little bit worried about the prison wanting those DVDs, from me.
When we say copyright, we talk about like titles and proofreading, things of that nature. But yeah, those are good interviews in themselves.
I don't know if I can make that
bring somebody on here.
I'd like to figure out if I can make it public.
Yeah, well, you can. That would be a good thing to research. I think there's some value in there too.
There's you when you see these things, you'll say, "Oh my gosh, this has got to be."
Hello from Europe.
No, from Europe. How you doing? I see.
From Europe. Wow.
We got Europe in here. So where are you from in Europe?
I'm from Albania.
Where?
I'm from Albania, near
Albania.
border with Greece.
Yeah, Albania. I know where Albania is.
The
What brings
country
you
of
on?
Belushi.
I see.
Do you know Jim Belushi?
Belushi. Okay. So,
From the Blues Brothers.
yeah, Belushi. Yeah, the Blues Brothers.
I'm sorry, my English is a little poor. I'm not speaking very good.
Well, it's not bad.
I
It's
like
not
it,
bad.
the blab, why kids should not use drugs.
Yeah, we're talking about. We have Craig working corrections in California, and he
California, looking like from Texas.
looking for Texas. No, we're in Reno, Nevada, actually, right now, which is a cowboy state. It's a western state, especially the north. We're just over the hill from California, from Sacramento, about 2 hours over the Sierras. And where in Albania do you live?
Tirana is, how you tell it, is the biggest city in the Albania. Tirana.
Kia. So in Albania, what do you do?
Actually, I'm unemployment. Not job, just at home for a moment.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of work? What kind of employment?
Unemployment, how you say it in English? I have no job. No job for a moment.
You hire people or contract. So Albania is north of Greece, right?
Did he say he's unemployed with no job?
Yes.
Oh, that's what you are. You're unemployed. That's not good. I know Greece is having a lot of problems with their countries.
Yes, it's a very hard economic crisis.
And Albania stayed out of the war. You've got Kosovo above you, but Bosnia, Herzegovina close. Serbia
Yes,
close.
Balkans, call it Balkans. But yes, we have here our problems because there was for many years communism.
That's right. You broke away. Albania, and that's the isn't Count Dracula originally from Albania?
No, this is Romania.
Oh, Romania.
Oh, Romania. Yeah. Big difference. Big difference. You're in Romania, huh?
No, Count Dracula's from Romania.
Oh, Romania. I didn't know that. Okay. Because I know people from Romania and Bulgaria. I have friends, my Olympics, Delchev, friends named Delchev who are big time Olympians, gold medalist.
But I think in the prisons may be more people, from lower, let's say lower classes, how you can say it, with lower incomes. Like I seen like I seen from the news and this, like black people more.
Of course they are.
Because and that's
the people that end up in prison are people that don't. They're the people that you see them. If you're in school, you see them goofing off. They don't take school seriously. When you're employed, they don't take employment seriously. So when they get older, they have no skills. They have no education, no job skills. And so what are they going to do? They don't have anything to do, so they do crime. So yeah, the most criminals are
crimes, not gambling, not drinking. No, it's not just a crime.
It's poverty of their own making.
Well, some of the criminals can be very smart too. That's what's strange. In a weird way.
Some of them, but you take this one kid told us, he said, you guys don't make very much money. And we said, oh no, we make a lot of money. And he said, no, I made $127,000 in 6 weeks one time.
Wow.
And we said, yeah, that's a lot of money. That's almost as much as we make in a year, because we were making like 150, 160. Right. And he says, yeah, and I did that in 6 weeks. And I said, so what's your prison sentence from doing that? He said,
yes.
He said 10 years. I said, so 10 years. I said, so that's $12,000 a year, dude.
Yeah.
I said, That's pretty bad.
He probably lost it all. He couldn't keep it. He couldn't protect it. It's not legal money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, well, I need to tighten this up. I need to do editing, and usually I stay on until about 10:30. So that was your, Craig, this is your first real blab. I think you would be good when we do come up on Meet the Voter, meetthevoter.com, and talk about the correctional institutional issues and sort of look. I'm sure you'd come from the side where these guys need to be in prison. And I'm going to finish with one question. 3 strikes, you're out. You were there when they implemented 3 strikes, you're out. How did that affect the criminal population?
People said it's gonna really affect it. I don't think it affected it much at all, because those guys were going in and out of prison, the revolving door, all the time. And so, 3 strikes, you're out, just kept them in prison.
Yeah, forever.
And it was cheaper because, to go through the whole court system, to get out, commit a crime, commit multiple crimes, like 12 crimes before you actually get busted. So you cause a lot of public suffering during the time you're out. And then it costs $400,000 to get a guy back into prison. Right?
We'll definitely bring on the last period, Meet the Voter. Maybe we could talk about it this weekend. We do the first 2 is about the election and Meet the Press. And then we come on in a special series, the last 10 minutes, about a topic. And we do want to talk about the topic of corrections, because half the people are liberal, half of them are conservative. But it seems that I've been hitting from the left that there's too many people in prison.
Oh, yeah, you hear that. They're idiots.
It would be nice to get you and some others on as backup to come on that show and talk to these folks.
Cool. Let's do that. Yeah.
We'll schedule that. Sunday night. It's going to be a Sunday night, 6 o'clock it starts.
Guys, what do you think about why it's not working the war in the drugs,
The war against drugs?
Giving millions there. The drug dealers are making millions from other side. It's a big problem there, I think. Not only in the United States, but in the Europe. I think personally, I think it's not working the laws, how you call it, the laws of the state, because you have FBI, you have CIA, but you see nothing happens.
The only way a drug dealer can make so much money is if he's paying off political officials.
Really?
I think the problem is the law, how is working the law of government, because they are spending millions and millions and nothing happens.
Bribes. That's the only way they can survive.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. You have to talk about that. That's interesting because Afghanistan, I saw it.
If they catch you with drugs in Indonesia, you go to the death row directly.
Yeah.
And if you see I don't hear from Indonesia to talk about drug crime and this.
Yeah. The dealers, some of those companies, it's a capital crime. It's a death penalty. Mm-hmm. Parts of the world, but in Afghanistan, the poppy market exploded while I was there. And it's a corrupt government as it starts. Afghanistan government, and we had poppy-free districts, and it's just crazy. But most of that opiums, most of that dope was heading towards Europe and Russia
through political channels.
Yeah, from country to country, and
I mean, secretly, because you know those a lot of those. I mean, who was it? One of those guys over in Afghanistan, where the American leadership got court-martialed because they beat up the Afghan police chief. Remember that?
All sorts of weird stuff happened.
Some scandal over there, and they beat him up. Two officers beat this guy up.
A lot of weird stuff has happened over there. Not even, it's amazing place. It's
because they're corrupt.
Oh yeah, definitely. Most are corrupt. The culture. They got hashish. It's payoffs.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can't get rich on drugs unless you're paying off some political people.
And they do that all different levels of government. I dealt with the provincial governors. They pay them so little, they're expected to get money different ways, like for favors and all sorts of stuff. It's hard to explain. And for appointments, and when you get an appointment in government, you have to buy it. You have to pay the higher up person. It's a completely different culture than ours. Hard to fathom what the culture is in Afghanistan. I lived there for 40 months of my life. And it's just so different. It makes us look like we have absolutely zero corruption.
It does, yeah.
Zero.
Yeah. And we do have some, and it's the same kind of corruption we have here.
And you find
there.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, want to come in a couple of seconds, and then we're going to sort of head out. And we got Mike has watched Meet the Voter. Craig, you'll be good in Meet the Voter.
Good night from me. Regards from Albania. Good night.
Hey, thank you for coming on from Albania. You spoke well. You did well. Thank you. We had in Albania. Hey, we're going to have Meet the Voter. We're going to have Craig come on and defend the argument why so many people are incarcerated. Nick Hernandez is right.
Okay. Oh, that would be interesting.
But we'll only have him come in the last 10 minutes and then go on to the YouTube portion.
Oh my God. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Because that's like what he wants to hang his hat on is.
We could do it this weekend. We could do it this week. I'd like to do it this week if they're available the other side. I'll only bring you on, Craig, the last 10 minutes and then go to YouTube.
Okay.
So we can have a normal first part. I need to get a conservative on, though, to cover the first 10 minutes on the election. So maybe Heather Ann will come on, and I'll bring you on, bring Nick on, and we'll let you stay on for a while, and they'll pound you. Watch. Liberals.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
You're evil.
Yeah.
Evil guy.
Hey, Bill, when I was flipping over here, that Vicky Finch was on and getting grilled.
I saw Vicky on something else, and she's
on right now. She's on right now, and she was getting pretty grilled by
She was on last night with who's the guy, the big Twitter fan, huge guy.
Twitter.
Is Vicky Finch a liberal or is she conservative?
No, she's just an online marketer. She's I would say, I know she's a Christian, so she's probably on the conservative side. But anyways, yeah, there was something that's happened on Blab and Periscope here with somebody who ripped a bunch of people off, and she was unfortunately drug into it.
Oh.
So kind of what motivated Bill and I to start our show. So because it was the big topic over the weekend here of somebody who was very well known, who was basically ripping people off the whole time.
Can I see that? Is it recorded?
With the one from Saturday, or there's one going on right now. She's talking about it. Let me see here. I might still have
You can drop it in, I think. You can pull it up on the right side.
Watch it, or do you have to actually log on?
This is from the other night here. Let me copy that.
She is definitely on Twitter. She's on this platform a lot.
Yeah, I was just in and out, and the girl said, let me understand this. You were supposed to do a tour with him. He took all this money, and you knew nothing about it. And she's like... And then she was going on to say there were others very well-known people that he was using on this tour that, so it's a mess for this poor girl.
I asked some questions. I didn't see anybody that really that was overly known. There she is right there. I just pulled her up.
Yeah, it's and I've seen that girl she's doing it with. She interviews people a lot.
Looks like she's off now, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe she's still on.
Wait a minute, I'm going to flip it. It was right next to yours, at least on my.
Michael Jackson, the attorney's on watching her. I'm looking at the people. I got a bunch of.
It says right here. It says Alice interviews Vicky about Robert Stern. So it's
the
still
link
on.
you just put in that says keeping the community safe.
There's 59 people watching it right now.
It says keeping the community safe.
No, this one's just titled Alice interviews Vicky about Robert Stern.
Is that link you just dropped in there?
No, that's from Saturday, but I'm saying the one that's live it's going.
Drop the live link in there.
Well, if you just click that and you just watch it,
you can do that too. But you can go back and get this link. You'll find this link. I made you a host.
Okay.
This will show up in your box.
I want to thank you all for coming. I hope that you can hear
Are
me.
you doing that, Mike? I'm listening.
I am.
I clicked on it. I don't know how to do this. Okay, right. I paused it. I think I paused it. Why do I still hear him?
It's Mike.
I paused it and I still hear him.
It's Mike.
Oh, it's
Might
Mike.
be me.
Okay.
My ears
Right.
weren't syncing right. I don't know how to set up.
This is what's going on right now. Now, Vicky's not on there, but she was talking about the girl that was doing the interview Alice was saying, but yeah. So this poor guy, this guy really screwed up big time. He's gonna be blackballed from any kind of live feed. He'll never make any money.
Who is
the guy?
Go ahead.
Robert C. Stern.
Robert Stern. Huh?
Robert C. But yeah, he was all over. He was all over every video streaming media there was, which people pulled back and said, how could he be doing any work when he was on 24/7? Everybody's Meerkat, Meevee, Periscope, Blab, the Facebook feeds, you'd see him.
Well, I tell people I spend 4.5 hours a day, by the time I do this, the podcast, work on the sites before I get any other work done.
Well, but you're not, that's not 4.5 hours that you're sitting on,
video. About 2 hours.
Yeah, you're sitting on just chatting away, because that's like what Cliff was saying. He goes, he would talk, but he really didn't have a lot of substance. But anyways, I just don't want to get off on a tangent.
The work starts when we hang up here. That's when you have to go to work and get stuff done.
Yeah. So
what do you, Mike, in closing, what are you doing today?
Well, I just finished. I've been on the phone all morning, just doing my SEO stuff for all my companies. So
yeah, that's good. You're doing the same thing, trying to online and.
Well, we're just driving traffic to the local brick and mortars.
Is it working?
It will. I mean, I know it will. We've proven it.
Yeah.
So like we're working in the water repair, water damage repair niche right now. So I would find companies in different cities that are probably 30,000 to 40,000 population. We do a little check on who looks good. Maybe, and we look to find somebody who maybe's on the internet and is maybe on page 3. And basically all I do is call them real quick. It's like a 60-second phone call. Just want to make sure your phone is working and that you're still in business. Because then once we have that, we put them in our system and we're going to start driving traffic to that business.
How do you monetize them?
Well, once they're going to get some leads for free, and then we track all that, and then we get back on the phone with them and say, hey, how do you like this? And they go, well, you love it. Do you want to keep getting up? Yeah. And then, all right, you got 24 hours to go to the site, sign up. Here's the price per lead.
That's a good model. That's a good model.
If they say no, we just find somebody else who's doing that in their area. So we don't have to beg anybody, and we've already performed for them. They already see, and and all these leads will be recorded and tracked. So it's not like the guy, I didn't get 5 leads. Yeah, I can tell you exactly when they came in. Exactly when they called your office.
If he's arguing with you, you're not going to get him over, probably.
No, it's so. But said I just had a guy here on over the weekend. I was doing this, and so you really can't get a hold of anybody. And so I was going through to verify him, and the guy says, "Why are you calling me?" And I said, "Well, I just want to make sure your phone number worked." And am I on a list or something? And so right in there, you kind of knew. And I said, and he says, well, take me off your list. I said, oh, okay. So I just went back in. I found another person that does that in his area. So it wasn't. And then I called them, and they were all excited.
You finally, did you find the guy online's phone number?
Well, I know who it is because I had all his information in my system. I was calling Longmont, Colorado. So I was looking for companies that did, water repair in Longmont, Colorado. And yeah, so this guy was, he just missed out a great.
So what's the name of the company? It's not Home Advisor, is it?
Oh, I don't know what name of his company
what's
was.
What's the name of your business now?
I'm on an NDA, so I can't divulge what we're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can tell you as much as I told you.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I pull up Google Maps, and that's how I can try. I can search through and see companies. So ideally, we're looking for somebody who's not ranked, 1, 2, 3, because they're already doing it right.
Right. I wonder if you could do, real estate agents. No one gets that free lead thing. It's a good search free lead. Let's give some free leads.
Well, yeah, we're just reversing it because how many people? Let's get into the scam thing, which we'll talk about. Is how many people are going to go buy a $2,000 website?
Mm-hmm.
They believe that they need it, which they don't need it, and
they do need a website, I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying that process. There's a lot of other things that they could use that $2,000 on if they're starting an online business and buying a website. I don't have one.
What would you say the ideal setup for? Let's say a home painter.
Website, and that costs me my monthly ClickFunnels fee. But I don't have a website.
That's true. You have a landing page.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so people spend this money and they think now I'm going to get traffic. Well, I always use the example. That's like the person who's got this 5-star hotel on an island in the middle of the ocean. Nobody knows where it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many people that spent money on websites that they didn't need. But in any case, so that's what we're looking for. Somebody who's buried down there, and then we can get them up. We can get them ranked based on the search keys, search terms, and getting their phone to ring. So we're a hero.
Jonathan just came up and down. So how much do you think you should spend on a website?
I have no idea because I've never really purchased one, so I don't know what they. And I think it depends on the business because you're obviously going to have. I don't even want to know what she spent. She spent a lot.
I know. And one person we review websites on Saturday spent $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, and too. In fairness, I mean, there are some people that are going to need multiple pages. They're going to need, they're going to, there's some things going on that the website is going to need, and all that costs money.
Like if you want to send up a merchant account like this Glenn Beck store, that takes some work.
Yeah,
I'm not a defender of these guys, but there is a cost, and then maintaining it. What I've tried this. I've tried to put a package out where I train business people how to protect their domain, how to point it, and how to get around the backside of WordPress. A lot about like you are, Craig. I can't tell you how many people won't go through the training. Mike, on this website I'm going to put together, you'll see the basic website out there. I'm trying to figure out how much would someone pay for me putting together a base core blog website like I'm doing for, and I'm going to ask you your opinion when we set this up for, it's called Weekly Scam. How much would you pay for this website? I'll set it up. So I'll set it up like a freebie, and as much free as possible.
Yeah, when I do, that's my daughter's out of Chicago, and I don't know what she paid for it, but and she's in fashion, so you can obviously see. But the thing about the website,
I like it.
What was my thought? Where was my thought going on this? Is I mean, it depends on what you need it to do.
Yeah.
As far as that, but I said that's where that new person isn't going to understand that, and I think they can go down a road that unfortunately is going to cost them money. It's not going to make them any. That's
a decent website she's got. Is she making money on this?
I'm just seeing this. Alicia, she's doing a blab. Alicia Curious exposes all about the Robert Stern fiasco.
Another one. That's what we did yesterday. We got a lot of folks.
Yeah, let me see when she's doing this. I got the little reminders that come up when when
did we say we're going to do the show, the first one?
All right. So she changed.
So if you guys would tweet this out for me,
yeah, that's the same. That's the same one that I sent you before. She just changed the title. We talked about doing it Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday, 7 Eastern.
I just realized I've got a stupid Republican Men's Club at 4:00 Wednesday at the same time.
That's fine. I mean, we can play with it. Don't worry about it.
But I want to test that show though.
Yeah.
Let me get the website built.
But anyways, yeah, this girl's going after Robert. So if you want to click that second link, that's the live blab that's going on now. So I think I'm going to jump over there.
And we'll finish up ours too. Wait a second. That was your daughter's link I just linked, the one above that. And that's Glenn Beck.
Evolve Chicago. So yeah, she's in a fashion. Now to answer your question, I don't think she really uses it. She probably was in a situation she didn't need it. And like right now, what she does, she doesn't use it. Mm-hmm. So that's a prime example. Beautiful site, but she makes zero money off of it because all her business is off relations.
It looks like they closed up the Robert Stern. Somebody shut it down.
Let me see. Let me go back.
Shut down right now.
Well, she changed the title.
And then she shut it down. She changed it, then shut it down.
Because when I clicked over, she says, please send this out on your Twitter feeds.
It shut down.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I just put scams online for new title.
That could be, but anyways, yeah. So she's going after this guy.
Oh, she's going what?
She's going after him. I mean, she's wants to whatever that title was that I read to you. She's going after this.
Oh, Stern.
Keeping the community safe.
What?
Keeping the community safe. Was that the discussion? keeping the community
You
safe.
know what? Now I can't find it because I said that popped off. But I mean, that was what all motivated me. That's where I went. There's another site, and a guy does a program at 10 o'clock every day. And, that was going to be one of the topics that they're coming into is, how to make people more aware and just, ask a little bit more questions. And I mean, the guys that are good at this there's still going to be somebody else that's come along and get away with it. But, if we could save one or two more people. And then too, I know some people didn't necessarily lose money. I mean, it was $99 for this tour that people were buying. So that wasn't life or death, but there were some people that he reached out to, asking for money that gave him money, and hadn't repaid him. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to live or die on the $99 ticket that you didn't get. But there were a lot of very well-known people that were tied into this, whose names, who unfortunately are could be hurt a little bit by this because of their affiliation. Because just like what that girl was saying, how did you not know this was happening? You're going on tour with this guy, so.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So anyway.
All right. Well, I just wanted to jump back in here.
Who's VC?
What's that?
Oh, Linux Club. Who's VC? First day on Blab.
So, because you guys have been on 2 hours here. So I'm going to jump off. I got to catch up on a few things.
Welcome to your first day on Blab. One person just came up. Hey, Mike, I'll send you, I'll probably have the website up today, so I'll send you some stuff.
All right.
See how fast I can build it. Hey, Craig, thanks for coming on. Stay open-minded. Let's get working in Reno and get more connectivity out there. Again, Craig, if you know anybody who wants to, I just changed the top up. If you know anybody who wants to maybe put together some streaming video for the caucus training, I didn't even know how to do a caucus.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where could we do that? Anybody know anybody who knows how to do the caucus? What's it all about? We could even.
I know people. I wish they would get
on this platform. But we could do a Google Plus Hangout. If they could give me a couple of slides,
get a recording of it, then we could show it to anybody anytime. That would
I know
be
on
great.
demand. I could put it on the I could put it on the Men's Club website. I could put it different websites.
Yeah,
Email it out. I can't believe that no one has done it. Northern Nevada, I can't believe that no one's done caucus training online.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you can
do it.
Find somebody, we can do a couple of slides. If you like, I'd love to have the cruise campaign. Give us some slides, and these are compliments, and maybe have somebody come on. And we can do it on a Google Plus Hangout.
Okay.
And then I can record it, and we can put it up. If you can coordinate with a cruise campaign, I can do the backside.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to him today. Let's do that.
That would be good, and then put it out.
Yeah.
It'd
be awesome.
So what is this website? What is this website? Which one? I don't know which one you're talking about. Which website? Oh, the website here. I can put it in. This is Timelines of Success. You should always put this in before we close out. Let me put the website in. And I'm so bad at typing. I like to put in like my website and then drop in the website after I confirm it because I've so many times. Hey, you're new on Blab. Yeah. Hey, new on Blab. This is an amazing platform. I see you're 1 day into it. You can do a lot of things. We were talking about kids and drugs. Craig is a correctional officer, 37 years in law enforcement, sworn. And we're just looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly about prison, war on drugs, things of that nature. We're going to have another show. Let me put this in here. It's called Politics of Success. It's up every Sunday night. Let's see. You know where I have to work, Craig, is I've got to get my online course online.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a really short one just to make sure everything's working, the $5 course. Then I'm going to go up to a much more expensive one. I'm going to charge about $200 for the netcasting course and about $200 to put a good blog site together for somebody, a good WordPress site. It might cost $400. It takes me half a day to do that with somebody. Everything else.
Yeah. So the Villain Club's asking a lot of questions there, huh?
I'm going to go, it's not Politics of Success. It's Meet the Voter. Meet the Voter is the Sunday night show. I'm going to drop it in here. What's he asking? On the course, I'm doing a $5 blog course just to test the course. So how to get on Blab, what you can do with Blab. Blab is really, really good. I've been in podcasting for a while. And I really was teaching people how to do YouTube and then put it on iTunes later, but learn by going on YouTube first. And then I found Blab, and Blab is so easy. Craig, you're on Blab now a couple of days. See how easy it is?
Yeah.
Can you think of all the ways you could use it politically?
Mm-hmm.
A gazillion ways. I put up something like this at a Republican Men's Club, had it up on the screen, and had people call in their questions and ask questions live. And it comes through the mics.
Yeah, no, you've done that before. That's a great.
It's too simple.
Great platform.
And I'm trying to train people too here locally to do it.
Mm-hmm.
What site do you use to run your course? Oh, that's a great question. We have WP Tonic, and we did a whole different series of learning management systems and online courseware. And Kim Shively, she is the expert. Kim Shively. And I don't have her site right now, but there are so many different platforms. There's Udemy, of course. I would recommend, if you've ever start with Udemy, go through their training and courses, put one up on Udemy, and then go to your own plugin and get a plugin. What does it say? I'm pretty sure. Let me show you a question down there, VC. Let me show you something. If you go to that little slash and you go to question Q like this, you can put ask questions this way. Like, have you seen Udemy? And then you can put like the question in here like that. So you put a backslash Q, and there's that little. Craig, you do the same thing. Practice once. Put that little Q in there. Hit the backslash.
Hit the Q in where? The little Q right there?
Hit the backslash in the bottom right corner. And then go up to question Q. Click Q, and then type in a question. I'll show you how it works. Then you can put the question up here. You just test. See, you just did test. That's how it works. What is the Valenian Club? I'm trying to find. Another thing you can do too is you can go to the person, look at the Twitter account behind it. You can follow it. And I went to the website. So a new motivational service for those who are driven by competition based all around the world are higher skills professionals. Discrete messages will provide a service tailored to you specific needs. Interesting. So I just found your website. I can stick the website in here. So you got a live link. Oops. Go paste. See, you just did the same thing, Craig. I just put it, then you click the little side thing, and you can put the question in there and answer it. So it's a very powerful platform we have here when it's used right. This is good training. See, as much training for you as anybody else today. We did your timeline. Yeah. Your colors look good now too. And see that
get off
here down the road.
I got to work on my car.
Huh?
I said I got to get off and work on my car.
What kind of car?
I got a Ford Freestyle, and my brother's a Ford mechanic over in Sacramento. So I talked to him this morning. He said I need to go out and find if there's somebody in the area that can flash a computer.
Mm-hmm. Do the flash on the system.
Yeah.
I used to have a BMW and a little thing I could plug in to it and analyze it. That was nice.
I have that, yeah. But now I gotta get a new computer, and it has to be reflashed for my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to find somebody that can reflash computers. He says in his shop in Sacramento, they just have a girl come in with a laptop, and she knows how to
flash them.
Yeah, how to flash them,
That's
how to reflash them.
If you can do that, if you come in with your laptop and have the expertise to flash something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, BC, I just dropped in what I always thought they picked a bad name for the Ford Freestyle.
It is a bad name, yeah. Yeah. I suppose, we've enjoyed that car.
Ford, now look at it. Ford.
It's a rigid car. It's an SUV. 6-passenger SUV.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at images. What's wrong with the name? Looks okay. Freestyle?
Well, for freestyle, freestyle skating. You go out there and do your own thing,
Yeah.
Freestyle wrestling.
You got pretty good interaction there. That's good. So I just dropped in FYI. I always do this. That's my 4% link to my
You can put some skis on top of that freestyle, you know.
resources. I just dropped in my resource page. I need to do more pictures with them. I recommend for equipment down the road. I'm going to change this. I'm going to actually buy a new. I'm going to buy a new keyboard, new mixer. Couldn't even stop and think for a second.
Huh.
Well, I'm going to run. I'll see you guys. Craig, good luck with your car. I got to get, now the work begins. I got to edit.
Yeah.
I got to work now hard and work out.
What are you going to do tomorrow morning?
At 9:00, I have an interview online. You can come and watch it if you want to. It won't go this long.
Yeah.
And then it'll be done. Why, what's up? I'm up almost every day at 9, no matter what. All right, Amy, thank you. Take care. And I'm signing off, and this will record.